As we continue in graphing, one of the things that is extremely important is to find the slope of an equation. Now, when I say the word slope, there's a lot of different words or ideas that may come to your mind. But in essence, we want to know how much slant does a line have. Okay, so the floor, hopefully in your house or wherever you're at, doesn't have very much slant at all. We want it to be nice and flat, don't we? However, if you're going skiing, depending on your ability, you may want a smaller slope or a greater slope, depending on how fast you can handle going down the hill. So mathematicians have come up with a way to calculate the amount of slant. And when given 2 points, they use the formula m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So if you are sitting here and you're trying to figure out, what does this mean? All right, right now we're going to assign a number value to it. And we're going to work in a little bit on letting you get an idea of what those number values mean. So this is going to be a bit more mechanical as far as that goes. All right, so let's do, for example, 3, 0, and let's try 0, negative 2. Okay? Now, first things first, this is our equation right here. All right, the first time I'm going to do it, I want to just write m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. All right, I have a very, very nice board, so I can do some erasing. All right, you guys know that ordered pairs come in an x, y order. They come x, y, x, y. But you might be thinking, what the heck are these 2's and 1's doing here? How do I know what's the 2 and what's the 1? Well, that's easy. We just randomly assign it. What I quite often do is I write a 1 and I write a 2 right over the points. So there now, I know y2. What's the y value in point number 2? It happens to be negative 2. Now I'm going to erase. I know many of you probably wouldn't write the equation ahead of time, although I recommend it. So there's negative 2 right there. I put it in the y2 position. What's in the y1 position? 0. So I'm going to substitute that in. Notice this minus sign here, I didn't erase it, I didn't do anything to it. The minus sign is part of the formula. x2. What's in the x2 position? And that would be a 0. x1, what's in the x1 position? That would be a 3. Now I've got to do some arithmetic. Negative 2 minus 0 is negative 2. 0 minus 3 is negative 3. Now, can I simplify this? The answer is yeah. When you've got two negatives, what is a negative divided by a negative? It is a positive. So that's going to be 2/3. Now, what does 2/3 mean? We're going to get to that. It's going to be in a later tape. But for right now, 2/3 is our mathematical value. Yes, it's a fractions. We like slope in fractions, even if they're improper fractions. Don't change slope to mixed numbers. Leave them as a fraction. All right? Now, let's do another problem. Let's do, I'm going to put one up here, negative 2, 4, and let's say negative 3, negative 1. Let's do something like that. All right, now I'm going to call this point 1 and point 2. As a practical matter, what I like to do when I'm solving slope problems is I like to put m equals on there. I put my line, I put my two minus signs. You see, these are the things in the formula that can't change. You're substituting in for y2 and y1 and x2 and x1. And then I managed to go right through my minus sign. Okay? So those are the 4 things that you're substituting in for. So these 4 areas are where you're going to put in numbers. The minus signs are part of the formula. The division sign or the fraction sign is part of the formula. So let's substitute in there. So what's the value of y2? Because it's y2 minus y1. y2 is negative 1. Negative 1. Put it in the wrong spot, excuse me. Negative 1. What's the value of x2? I'm sorry, of y1? y2 minus y1, duh. y1 is 4. So I'm going to put a 4 in there. What is the value of x2? Negative 3. I'll put in a negative 3. And the value of x1? Negative 2. All right, now watch your arithmetic here. Negative 1 minus 4. Negative 1 minus 4 is negative 5. Okay? You get negative 1 and negative 4, you put them together, you're back 5. What do you do when there's 2 minus signs in a row? 2 minus signs turns it into a plus, doesn't it? Negative 3 plus 2, that is negative 1. A negative divided by a negative is a positive. 5 divided by 1 is 5. That's a whole number. It's okay. Whole numbers are fine. A fraction or a whole number. If we need to deal with this as a fraction, whole numbers are super easy to turn into fractions. All you do is put a 1 under it. But when you're representing the value, we would never, if you were told what's the slope, 5 over 1 wouldn't be simplified. All right, well there's 2 example problems for you. Take a look through, got some practice to do. Just keep in mind that this formula is meant to be substituted into. The minus signs, they don't just disappear, they are part of the formula, and work it through. Good luck.